Hi everyone, today we're going to be going through the third part of our potential 2024 election on the Democratic side. So, just as a quick update, right now in first place we have Senator Kamala Harris, who's won the states of California, Arkansas, Alabama, Tennessee, South Carolina, North Carolina, and Virginia with 465 delegates, along with American Samoa. And in second place, we have Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio Cortez, who has won the Democrats abroad, Nevada, Utah, Colorado, Texas, and Vermont with 432 delegates. And in third place, we have Massachusetts Senator Elizabeth Warren, who has won Iowa, New Hampshire, Oklahoma, Massachusetts, and the state of Maine with 376 delegates. Mayor Buttigieg, who has not won any contest with 139 delegates, has now dropped out. Senator Klobuchar with 94 delegates, just winning her home state of Minnesota. And Governor Cuomo with 6 delegates, again not winning any state, not registering much on the board right now. But we've just finished Super Tuesday, so now we're going to go ahead and take a look at the March 10th primaries. Idaho, Michigan, Mississippi, Missouri, North Dakota, and the state of Washington. All of them are primaries except the North Dakota caucus. So let's go ahead and take a look at who is likely to win there. Let's go ahead and start off with the first state, which is the state of Idaho. Here, this one I actually see going to being a close race between Senator Harris and Senator Warren. So let's go ahead and give 40. There we go, 40 to 40. I think, Warren's probably going to edge out Harris, but not by a very large margin. Maybe something like that, 50, 35, 15, something like that. And then the next state on the list, we've got the state of Michigan. This one's going to be very interesting. I think Harris probably won't do. She could do quite a bit well, given she'll likely have the backing of Joe Biden. So maybe she reaches, a third of the vote there. But I'm not going to say that she's going to do all that spectacularly well in the state of Michigan. Speaking of Michigan, Congresswoman Ocasio Cortez, I also don't see doing, amazingly well in Michigan. I think, they might view as sort of coastal elite. But I think Warren, with her message, definitely could win Michigan, 42% of the vote. So that's 53 delegates there. Moving on to the next state, the state of Mississippi. This one's going to go to Senator Harris, in my opinion. I think Harris is going to win. Warren, she could even get shut out. I don't think Warren's going to do very well there. Congresswoman Ocasio Cortez, sorry about that. I think you could get some sort of split, something like that, 60 to 33 to just a few delegates for Senator Warren. Moving on to the next state here, we've got the state of Missouri. This was very, very close in 2016. I see Senator Harris taking this one, so let's go ahead and give that one over to Senator Harris, something about 45, 47% of the vote. Second, I see this one going to Ocasio Cortez. You could make a pretty good argument for Senator Warren to win as well. I think it could be close for second. There's something like that. Maybe something like that, given, again, they could view Ocasio Cortez as part of the coastal elite. I don't think this will be a very good day for Ocasio Cortez, with the exception of Washington. But in the North Dakota caucus, I see this one going towards Warren. I see her doing quite well in the North Dakota caucus. They are quite friendly to Bernie, so you could see, assuming Ocasio Cortez gets an endorsement, something like that, a 7-4-3. But I think the progressive vote will continue to be split between Warren and Ocasio Cortez. Moving on to the next state, the state of Washington. Here, let's go ahead. Excuse me. I think this one could be something that Ocasio Cortez could win. Ocasio Cortez, Warren, and Harris. But I think Ocasio Cortez probably going to take the state of Washington, given the support from Senator Sanders. I think you could have something like that with the progressives vote continue to be split, then Harris coming from the West Coast picking up a bit of that moderate vote, especially considering that she is VP in this situation. Moving on, now we're going to not look at 2020, we're going to take a look at 2016 because this is when states started to move around their primaries due to coronavirus, and so the calendars all sort of messed up there. So this is Super Tuesday here. Kansas, Louisiana, and the state of Nebraska. We'll take a look at those first. Kansas, let's go ahead and take a look there. State of Kansas, this one again I think is something, I think a lot of these Midwestern states Warren could do quite well in. So I'm going to say Warren, 18 delegates, and then Harris, you know, it's going to be quite hard to predict these sort of things. You could see something like that in the state of Kansas with Harris getting a lot of that moderate vote, then the progressives again being split between Warren and Ocasio Cortez. Moving on to the next state here. Sorry, we're taking a look at this now. The state of Louisiana. This one is going to be Harris. Actually, I think I'm going to change. No, I think that it's quite hard to say. Alright, the state of Louisiana, this one's a Harris state. You could see her getting something like that, for 60% of the vote. Ocasio Cortez getting a little bit, but I think you could see Warren taking most of that progressive vote, so it's something like that. But the overall beneficiary of this progressive split is none other than Senator Harris. If the two progressives were to coalesce, if one of them dropped out and endorsed the other, then I think that they would probably be able to beat Senator Harris, but I guess it's really still all up in the air. Moving on to the state of Nebraska, this one's going to be interesting. So I see, in this one, I actually see Warren, a lot of these sort of Midwestern states, I see Warren doing quite well in. So Warren, 34%, maybe a bit more, 44%. And then Harris doing well just because of that institutional support, Ocasio Cortez. I think you could see something like that. Moving on to our next state on the list, the state of Maine. So let's go ahead and do that. Maine has already voted because we, just based on how we did it this time. Michigan, Mississippi already voted. Northern Mariana Islands is the next one. So this one voted for Hillary Clinton. So we're going to give this one over to Senator Harris. I'm going to say 4-1, 1-1, something like that. So something like that. And then next state, this is another Super Tuesday. So we can do that actually today. So we'll do this Super Tuesday today, and then in part 4 we'll do the March and April primaries. They're including a Seller Tuesday, and then in the final episode we'll take a look at the May and June primaries. But we're just going to finish off here by looking at Florida, Illinois, Missouri, North Carolina, and Ohio. So Florida, Illinois, and Ohio are the states that are still left to vote. So let's go ahead and start off in the state of Florida. This is going to be really tight. This is a state, just because of its centrist sort of leanings, I see Senator Harris picking up at the end of the day. Ocasio Cortez I don't think would do all that well, with Warren carrying the rest of that progressive vote. So you could see something like a 53 to 30 to 16, something like that. The next state we'll be taking a look at here, so I just need to check something very quickly. We do need to do actually the Georgia primary as well, because that was in a previous Super Tuesday that we missed. So Senator Harris, we can see again doing quite well. Warren and Ocasio Cortez splitting the difference. So you can see really sort of Harris domination in the south of the US. Warren sort of doing quite well in the Midwest, and then Ocasio Cortez sort of doing well sort of in the western part of the country there. And you know, they're sort of splitting a lot of these northeastern prizes between between Warren and Cortez. Alright, moving on to the next state we're going to be taking a look at today is the state of Illinois. This one's going to be very interesting. I think that progressives could probably win the state of Illinois, but just because the progressive vote is split, I think Harris could actually pull this one out of the bag, getting something like 45% of the vote. Warren probably coming in second, Ocasio Cortez coming in third, something like that. So you could see something like that. Moving on to the next state, the state of Ohio. This one is again very. I think that Warren's probably going to take. It seems like Warren is the sort of candidate who could take a state like Ohio. Ocasio Cortez getting a bit of support there, with Harris taking the rest, something like that. Moving on to the next states. Actually, I believe these we can probably do. Yeah, I think these we can probably do in the next video, but yeah, so right now let's take a look at the updated standings here between each of these different prospective candidates. Leading with 934 delegates is Senator Kamala Harris of California, we're presuming the incumbent vice president. In second place, with 737 delegates, we have Massachusetts Senator Elizabeth Warren. And in third place, with 697 delegates, we have Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio Cortez. And coming up later, we're going to have a big announcement that will be revealed in the next episode of this series, and this is going to be a big announcement that will shake up this 2024 primaries. So thank you for watching, and I hope you guys have a great day. Thank you and good night.